Okay, I'm recording tonight. I had a few people ask if I could record it. They have church stuff. So this business is a lot different in the sense that you are your own boss, and you wake up and you start the business when you want, and you go to bed and you end the business when you want. You work the business from an hour a day to 10 hours a day, 30 minutes a day. You don't have a boss breathing on your back telling you, you have to get this done or you have to do this by the end of the day. So it's very, it's good in the sense that you do have freedom, but it can be difficult for a lot of people because it's so different than what we're used to. We don't have that accountability. It's self-management. I mean, we have to make sure that we are self-motivated people. And that's just not something that you learn, going into this. You don't think about all that stuff when you get started, and you definitely do learn along the way. But in the last 2 years, I've had to really be self-motivated, learn how to be self-motivated and realize that, nobody's going to do this for you. And so the first thing I want to talk about is intentional leadership. Intentional leadership and what that means. So I looked up the definition for intentional, and the definition for intentional, a few terms are deliberate, calculated, planned, studied, purposeful, knowing, and willful. Okay, those are some things that I found under the definition of intentional. So if you're being intentional, then you're being deliberate. You're being deliberate in your business, deliberate in your actions, deliberate in your goals. You're being calculated. You think about the goal. You think about the plan ahead of time. When you wake up in the morning, you have a calculated goal for the day. I'm going to message this many people. I'm going to contact this many people. It's calculated. It's pre-planned. It's studied. You know what you need to do that day. You know kind of what your task and your goals are that you have for the month or the week or the day. It's knowing and it's willful. You have to be willing to be intentional. Being intentional, you have to want to be. You have to want to do this business. You have to want the outcome that you're going for, because no one can want it for you. You have to want it for yourself. And so many times, I know as leaders in this business, and I know I found that there's so many times, I'm sure y'all are experiencing this, where you sign a distributor and you want it so bad for them, and you see their potential and you see, greatness within them, and they don't want it for themselves. And it is disheartening, but I can just tell you that you can't want it more for them than they want it for themselves. You just can't. It's just going to drag you and drain you. And at the end of the day, you have to be willing to not let them go, but you have to move on and find someone that will want it and that will work for it. Because they have to want it. They have to. The next thing I want to talk about is the second part of intentional leadership is leading. It's leading with a purpose for a desired outcome. Okay? You're leading with a purpose for a desired outcome. When you're intentional, you're expecting. You're not hoping, you're not wishing, you're not praying. You are praying, you are doing all of those things, but you have to be expecting for a result. You can't just say, I hope I go diamond. I hope I go double diamond. I hope I go ruby. Because when you just hope, it gives you an out. It gives you a way to say, well, I hoped for it, but it didn't happen. It gives you an out. Because when it doesn't happen, you're not putting blame on yourself. You're saying, I hoped for it, but oh well. When you expect it to happen, then you feel like you're more responsible for it to happen. You're expecting it to happen. You're in control. You're going to make it happen. So that's kind of the difference in just hoping and expecting. So in this business, you need to expect. Expect a yes. Expect to go ruby. Expect to go emerald. So what that means is you're going to do your part, and then you're going to expect it to happen. Because you know that you've done your end. You've worked your half of it, and then you're going to expect results. Okay? When you're leading and when you're working hard, you're going to expect a result. That's just all there is to it. Okay, the next thing is to be deliberate and purposeful in everything you do. That is an intentional life. That is living an intentional life. It's being deliberate and purposeful in everything that you do. So we need to be intentional. And I love this topic because I just think it just, not just with the business, but it just relates so much in life, in relationships, in parenting, in, marriages, in friendships, in business. You have to be intentional. You have to be intentional in your marriages. You can't, it's work. Everything that's worth having in life is work. This business, your marriage, your family, everything that is important to you does require work. So just be intentional. Another thing is, I've got 2 more parts on the intentional part, and then we're going to move on. Be intentional by encouraging growth. Okay? When you're a leader, you want to encourage your growth of your team. You want to encourage them daily. You want to make sure you're communicating with them. Communication is everything in this business. Everything. You should be checking in with your upline and asking questions or saying, I need this. I need you to help me with this. I have a question. I have this going on. Communicate with your upline. And if you're a leader, communicate with your downline. Find out what's going on. If you notice someone hasn't posted in a week or 2, message them or call them and see what's going on. They might have something going on personal, and you just need to be a friend. They may just need a friend. So be intentional by encouraging not only people on your team, but the growth. Because when you're intentional with people on your team and their well-being, it's going to make your team stronger. If you're a good communicator and you are a leader and you're having meetings and you're having get-togethers and like just little coffee meetings or whatever, your team is going to be closer, and they're going to be a lot less likely to flake on you and to bail because they feel like they're responsible and that they're part of a team. Everyone likes to feel like they're part of a team, and the friendship and the fun goes along with the business part of it. So even if you only have one distributor, maybe make an effort to call them up. Hey girl, let's go get coffee. Let's just sit down and chit chat like once a week or once every couple weeks, just to have that communication. If your upline is not local to you, find a sideline friend. Find someone in the business that you can connect with and meet up with. It's so important, y'all. It's so important. One of my best friends, actually my best friend in the business, is not on my team. She is under Brooke and I'm under Brooke, but we're not under each other. We don't make money off each other, and we're best friends. We talk multiple times a day about our businesses and about life and being moms and everything. I mean, you just need that. So find somebody that you feel like that you relate to. There's 4,000 people on Brooke's page. You can find one person. There's 800 people on our team. You can find somebody. Maybe they're a mom. Maybe they're a homeschool mom. Maybe they have 12 kids like you. Maybe they like tacos. I mean, find somebody that you can relate to and start building that relationship. Okay, that's going to keep you going on those hard days when you just feel like you're in a funk. Reach out to those sideline friends, and they'll get you through it. Those are going to be your lifelong friends in this business. The next point is okay, this is a hard one. This is something that I think probably, I would say more people than none probably struggle with, or maybe it just doesn't come easy. It's difficult. It's a very difficult thing to do as a leader. And sometimes you will feel like the bad guy. Sometimes you will maybe not be liked for the time being. You have to do this, but it's a leadership quality, and it's something that you have to have and you have to be able to do. Be intentional by giving constructive criticism. Okay. And there is something Les Brown saying. He said, sometimes it's hard to do, but it's often necessary in leadership roles. If you are a leader and you are just sweeping everything under the rug and you are just to the point where people are taking advantage of you, like, people are not going to respect you as a leader. Is that saying, like, grab everyone up by the throat if they're not posting and, like, go off? No, absolutely not. that's not your business. But at the same time, if someone on your team is doing something, either like say it's against compliance, or they're doing something that goes against, what our company stands for, or, maybe their Facebook, they're posting something that's just completely like offensive, or something that's going to make our business look bad, it's okay to reach out to them and just say, hey girl, like, what are you posting? Like, what's going on? It's not our place to judge people, but at the same time, like, we want to hold each other accountable. Mark and Cindy, like, the integrity in this company is so high, and we always want to make sure that not only are we displaying that on our social media and in life, but that our teammates are as well, because their attitude and their vibe reflects on you as a leader. And so people will associate you with who is on your team and what, like, kind of what they're doing on Facebook sometimes. So you just want to be really good about giving constructive criticism, even when it is hard, because that's what makes, leadership so important. That's a big part in it. If you see something that you don't feel is right, then just reach out to people and tell them, I don't know about that. Like, what's going on, in a very nice way. But constructive criticism is a good thing. It's a good thing if you can do it the right way. I have to piggyback off that, though, and say that if you are giving constructive criticism, but yet you're failing to be a leader and you are not leading from the front, it's going to be very hard, and you're going to have a really hard time getting your point across, because leaders have, I don't know how to say this, but pretty much what I'm trying to say is, if you're a leader and people look up to you, you have this reputation. You have something to stand on. You have a solid ground to stand on. And, you're making things happen. You are being a leader. You're doing meetings. You're doing this. You're doing that. You're doing everything that you want your team to do. And if you're telling your teammates to have more meetings, you need to do wrap parties, and you're not doing it, you're going to have a really hard time getting that across if you're not doing it yourself. Okay, so just make sure you're careful about that. Okay, we're going to move on from intentional, and we're going to move on to the second topic. I feel like I'm a teacher again. It's kind of fun. Except I'll have 25 5-year-olds running around screaming, which is really nice. I wish I had a mute button on kindergartners. That'd be really cool. The next part is build your own business, BYOB. And you're going to hear this a lot, this acronym, BYOB, build your own business. This is probably my favorite thing to talk about, because I cannot tell you how many times I get complaints and I get calls and messages and texts all day long about this. So-and-so's doing this. She did this. She friend requested my friend. She copied my posts. It's constant. And I know I don't just see it on our team, but I know other leaders see it. Same thing for their team. So when you're building, build your own business. Building, what does building mean? Building is to establish, to cultivate, to water, to pour into. Consistency, that's building. You're building something. You're building a team. You're building your reputation. You're building whatever it is. Those are the things that go into building something. It's a consistent work. It's consistent work. It's pouring into. It's giving yourself. That's what you're building, and you're leading from the front. You are doing things that you want your team to do, and you're not telling your team to do things that you aren't willing to do. That's leading from the front. When people say you need to lead from the front, that's what that means. Leading from the front is just simply being a leader that you want your team to become. That's simply it. It's doing those extra things that you would want people on your team to do. And the next thing about building your own business is focusing. Be focused. Focus on your goal. Focus on your week goal, your daily goal, your month goal, your year goal, and don't lose sight of that goal. And the last part of that is it's your own business. It's your business. It's nobody else's. Nobody's going to do it for you. Nobody's going to, come ring your doorbell when you're not posting. You got to do it yourself, and you have to be self-motivated. If you see a leader, maybe your leader isn't doing something quite right, and you just, well, you know what? You be the better leader. You be a leader. Because this business is so great in the fact that we are our own leaders. We're our own bosses. And like, so many people look up to their enroller, and if their enroller or their leader is doing a good job, that's great. We all have people in the business that we look up to, whether it's your enroller or a friend or whoever that you just admire, and maybe they just do a great job leading, but they're not your boss, and they're not your manager, and they're not your whatever. They're not in charge of you. You are. You're your own boss. And one thing I want to say about that is, if there's something that your leader is not doing and you just are frustrated, do it differently, okay? You do it differently. If your leader quit, or maybe they started a different company, or they're just not available, this is, again, your own business. There are YouTube videos. There are, your eSuite has tons of documents. Everything that you need to find, if you know how to search the internet, and you can click Safari and you can click Google, you can figure out everything that you need to know in this business. Everything. You can get motivation from leaders on Periscopes and YouTube videos and, things like that. But when I have a question, like, I don't go to my enroller. I never have. Like, I'll look it up. I go to the team pages. I go to the product coach. I might ask Jason about the compensation plan several times. But, like, I depend on myself. And I've always been that way. And I'm trying to even think to the very beginning when I started. And my enroller, when I started, sent me an email of the Dropbox and a few videos, and that was it. And every month I would get a message, hey, you're going Ruby this month. That was it. The next month, hey, you can go Emerald. That was it. And honestly, I'm so thankful that it was that way, because I had to learn how to be self-motivated from the very beginning. My enroller is amazing. We're like super close friends. But I had to learn to be self-motivated in the business. And she did too. Her enroller quit 2 weeks after she started. So she had to be self-motivated. And so I say all that to say, like, you don't need your upline to be successful. You don't need your you do need your downline. You don't need your upline. You can be successful on your own. You don't need someone to hold your hand every step of the way. If you have a supportive upline, you're lucky. You're one of the few. Consider yourself lucky, because most people don't. But if you don't, it's okay. You can still do the business without them, because you're in charge of your own destiny in this business. So that's what I want to hit on about building your own business, just because I've seen a lot of girls and guys that have just kind of been really like nagging about that, and just are kind of like, my upline's not doing this, or they're not answering my questions, and they're not, like, you're so focused on your upline, like, you're losing sight of your own team and, like, being the leader for your own team. And the thing is, you can fly right past your upline. That's the beauty in this company. If your upline chooses to sit back and chill, you can make more money than them. You can promote and fly right past them. It's happened on our team. It's happened on many other teams. And that's the beauty in this company, is that Mark and Cindy, they wanted to make sure that you never got to the top and then you just sat back and let everyone work for you while you collected the money. It keeps you working, which is great, because you never want to feel like, oh, my upline's not doing anything and they're making all this money and I'm having to work for them, because that's not the case at all. So keep that in mind. Stop focusing so much about what everyone else is doing and just build your own business. Okay, whatever that you want that to look like, build your own business, and you'll be very, very successful, I promise. The third topic is how to create a thriving team. Okay, I'm gonna write this down. how to create a thriving team. The way that you can create a thriving team, I think, is you have to look at yourself, okay? What's your growth look like? Are you adding distributors? Are you adding loyal customers? Are you blitzing? Are you wrapping people? Are you, what are you doing? Even write on a piece of paper. This week, this is what I've done. I've messaged this many people. I've posted on my Facebook. Okay, check. I've done that. I've had a wrap party. Have you had a wrap party? Okay. Every facet in the business, you need to check it off. Have you done this? Have you done this? Keep yourself accountable. If you want a thriving team, you have to be a thriving distributor. If you're sitting back and you haven't signed a distributor in 6 months and you're wondering why your team isn't signing distributors, it's probably because you're not. And I'm just honestly, everything I tell you guys, it's just from things I've learned personally in the last 2 years. Things that, I've learned from and things that I've grown from, and I don't want y'all to get hard or beat yourselves up or anything like that. We all start this business and none of us know what we're doing when we get started. It's new for all of us. We're all just trying to figure it out. And, it takes a while to figure this out. It's not something that we just sign up and learn everything overnight. It's a process. And I've been in it 2 years and I'm still learning a ton. So I want you all just to be proud of yourselves and how far that you've come at this point. And the fact that you're even on this call shows that you want this. You want a better life for your future and your family and, your team. Because the thing is, your team, every single face that's on this screen, when I take a picture, guess what? When I post it, your team is looking and they're seeing, oh, there's Angela. She was on the call. Heather was on the call. They're seeing all these faces. I see Angie. They're seeing all these faces on this call. Yeah. And they're looking at you. And look, I see someone right over here. Who is this? Ashley. She's over here driving and on the call. That's no excuses right there. And that's a great leader right there. And you know what? I know Ashley, and she is a hard worker. I do see her posts. And, being involved in these calls is going to make you a better leader for the future. It's going to, because you're getting this solid foundation from the very beginning. You're getting it. You're on these calls, you're learning, you're investing, and your team is doing that too. They're going to do that. So I'm just so proud of y'all for even just being on the call, taking your night out to get on this call. And I just want you to know that, again, don't judge your rank with the fact if you're a leader or not. Okay? Whether you're a distributor or ambassador diamond, you're a leader. If you have one loyal customer signed up, you're a leader. Your customers need you. And when you quit, you're quitting on your customers. You're quitting on your team. So don't quit. Always just stay focused. And someone told me that one time. I think some people think, well, I don't have any distributors under me, so I'm not a leader. But you have loyal customers. And when you quit, where are your loyal customers going to go if they have a question? How is that fair? You sat there and you signed up a loyal customer and for 90 days, and then you bail in a month. And then what if, they have a question about a product or, they need to check in. That's not fair and that's not okay. And so I want us all to kind of get that straight. Like, you're a leader. When you sign a customer, you're a leader. When you sign a distributor, you're a leader. It's not just about, having a bunch of distributors. So if you have 50 loyal customers, I know Angie on this call, she's got like 89 loyal customers, probably more than that. She's like the loyal customer queen. I need to give her tips. Would you sign all those? So think of that's 89 or that's 90 or whatever lives that are going to be coming to you. Hey, have you tried this? What about the cleanser? What about this? And what if you just quit and they have no one to go to? Don't just look at your distributors. Look at your loyal customers too. You might have one distributor, but you have 10 loyal customers. That's 11 lives that you can help. And look at this too. A lot of your loyal customers end up becoming distributors. Okay? So they might want to be a customer first and kind of, try a product and see, and then they might come back later and join the business. So don't think, oh, I don't have any distributors, but sorry, my phone's blowing up over here. So invest in your loyal customers, not just your distributors. Invest in those customers. Reach out to them monthly. How are you doing? How are you liking the cleanse? I love to hear your results. How are you liking hair, skin, and nails? And what I do is monthly, I'll check in with them and I'll send them a message asking about the product. And then I'll bring up the business and I'll say, hey girl, like I know you've been on hair, skin, and nails for a couple months. How are you liking it? If they say they like it, I'll say, you should really think about joining this business. You're already spending the money, becoming a customer. And if you can make some extra money, you'd be great at this. You've already tried the products. How would you like to make an extra $1,000? I mean, everyone wants to make extra money. And a lot of times if they're already spending the money on the products, they're more than likely going to be like, all right, well, I'll just spend the $99 and get a product credit, get, 120 product credit. So that's a good way to grow your team. Reach out to your loyal customers about the business. That's basically all I have outlined right here on my sheet. I have my little outline sheet. But, I just hope that y'all are motivated and fired up. And I hope that if you are going for a bonus, that you're fighting for it. There's still 7 days left in the month, and anything can happen in 7 days. Auto shipments run tomorrow. So be looking for that all day. Auto shipments will run from the morning until the night. They run all day long. So after tomorrow, that's when you'll kind of have a good idea of what your volume is going to be for the month. And that way, it gives you a really good idea of where you need to boost and where you need to, who on your team you need to look at and say, okay, this person needs to get 400. I need to work with this person. It'll get you a good idea of who needs to get up to 400 after the auto shipments tomorrow. So you'll notice that your volume will boost a lot tomorrow on the 25th. But yeah, that's about all I have for tonight. I just want to say I'm so proud of y'all. Whether you're working for a promotion this month or next, just fight for it. And don't think that, one last thing, don't think if you missed out on a bonus that you are a failure or you don't feel defeated. I didn't get a bonus when I started until I was with the company for a year. I went Ruby my first month, but they didn't have a bonus for Ruby. And so I went Diamond in a year. It took me a year to go Diamond. And so I didn't get my bonus until I was with the company for a year. And I worked really, really hard to get to that point. And when I got ready to go Diamond, I was a very strong Diamond. Had a lot of people on my team that were working, and my volume was amazing because I worked so hard up to that point, and I built a very solid team. So I say all that to say that if you've missed the mark for Ruby, or maybe you might not be getting a bonus this month, don't give up, because Mark's always bringing back something. You never know what he's going to do. But if you are close, you better go for it, because he might not bring something else back. So if you're within 1 or 2 distributors from a big promotion, make it happen, guys. You need to make it happen, because I know for sure next month, he already said 100%, he is not bringing back the double good, 100%. So break that down and see how much money that would add to your paycheck by doing it this month, and make sure that you're fighting for it, because he won't bring the double good back probably till next year around this time. So he only does that like 2 months out of the year, and it's usually right after conference. So one last thing, and I'll let y'all go. They are going to be announcing the green carpet dates 1st of April. And green carpet, what it is it's just a conference they have every year in Florida. It's usually in Florida. Last year it was in Bradenton Beach. But it's just a big conference, and it's amazing. Last year was my first green carpet. We made a family trip out of it. We took our little guy down there, and we spent a whole week, and we stayed right on the beach, and it was amazing. Everybody from all over not only the country, but the world. I mean, there's people coming from France and Canada and Australia to be there. And so it's all a bunch of It Works, people, and it's just a big conference. All that Mark and Cindy, everybody talks and gets you really fired up. And so that will be more than likely in July, but they'll announce the details in April. Last year, I think it was about $60 a person for tickets. And then you can, book where you want to stay. Jason and I got a place for really cheap, like for the whole week for like $400 for the whole entire week right on the beach. So it wasn't that bad. And if you go in with a bunch of friends, you can split it and, split it however many ways. But I encourage you all to be there. If you don't go, you're going to regret it. You're going to see everyone's pictures and you're going to see all the fun and you're going to regret it. It will change your business 100%. It will 100% change your business. Being at that conference and hearing those stories, it changes your business. And John, why don't you talk a little bit about conference? Because John and Stacy, they went to their first conference in January, and just talk about kind of, what you learned and how it changed your business.
Ready, set, go. Man, I tell you what, it was so energetic to hear everyone's testimonies, and it was very emotional, but yet inspiring. To bring it back and see what we could touch on our piece of the prize here where we live at, and it was amazing, really, really amazing.
It is. And you leave and you just have this energy, and I just can't even explain it. I cannot explain it. So if you have to put part of your commissions check back a little bit to be able to buy your tickets to go. And don't worry if you don't have a place to stay. Just buy your tickets and we'll all figure it out. We'll do what we got to do. We can eat peanut butter and jellies and just come to your room, and we'll make it happen. But please don't miss out on your tickets. They will sell out. Conference sold out in one day. And there was 20,000 tickets for conference, and they sold out in one day. So they will sell out. I promise they will. This is a lot smaller than conference too, so there's gonna be a lot less tickets. So when they announce them, be ready to get them. I don't want anyone to miss out on that. But just be excited. Finish the month strong. There's 7 days, plenty of time. And look at it this way, okay? Work as hard as you can work. And if you don't quite make the mark, you're that much closer next month. You're that much closer next month to promoting. So do everything that you can in the next 7 days to go Ruby or to go executive or to go diamond, whatever. And if you don't quite make it, you're just that much closer next month to going. Okay? So don't think I'm not going to do it this month. I'm just going to give up. No, keep pushing. And then you're that much closer next month. It's less you have to do next month because you're already almost there. Okay? So go for it. Bonus or not, go for it. And that's all I got. But before y'all get off, I want to take a picture, please. Okay. I always want to take my picture, my Thursday night pictures. Everyone loves to see them. Okay. All right, everyone, turn your cameras on just for a second, please. And y'all can tag yourselves on my page. This is great because people see your faces and they're like, oh, she was on the call. Oh, she was on the call. I want to be on her team. She's invested. She's on these calls. They're going to, look at Jason and Hudson. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay. Let me make sure. Oh, that's good. Okay. All right, y'all. Well, thank y'all for tuning in. Y'all have a great rest of the month. 7 more days. Let's see what happens. Good night, y'all.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.